Welcome to the action of Shooting Stars taking on the local Valmiera team from Valmiera. Surprise, surprise. But we are playing in Ogre, and Shooting Stars from Lithuania gonna try to score their first point, and that disc just in. Oh, that was very close. Very exciting point, and a very nice show that Shooting Stars is putting on for us. Nice celebration over there from Shalashevichus. And Shooting Stars are getting us started with a perfect hold, with a clean hold in the first point. It is the third game for Valmiera already, and the second game for Shooting Stars. Valmiera so far winning 1 and losing 1, and Shooting Stars only won 1. They have no common opponents yet, but we are looking at the action of the Group D of the men's division right now. Kriegers to Schilde for an equalizer, and we've got 1-1 situation on our hand, so 2 skyscrapers on the board. Dainis Jakovels with the disc getting ready to pull. And that pull is up. Oh, that was very close to the ceiling. And it's going to be called out. Looks like it did cross the line, and it was a little bit too high at the moment. But yeah, it looked like it could be a very, very nice pull, but just a little bit too high and did not curl in as early as Jakovels actually wanted. And another very quick point for Shooting Stars. I think it was Sterbis to number 92 Žitkauskas, Dominikas. Yeah, very different game comparing to the previous one. If you want to watch a thriller, I cannot call it differently, have a look at the game of NXT taking on Valmiera. So Valmiera are playing 2 games in a row right now. NXT gave them a game for sure, but I think this game is definitely a lot calmer than the previous one. Oh, great defensive bid over there by Rindokas, and Schilde gonna send it into the end zone for Kozolans, but looks like Kozolans maybe slightly misread it and did not attack it under the correct angle, could not see it very well, and that is knocked away under a pressure from Mockus, Domas Mockus. Shooting Star is gonna pick up, I think that is number 1. Rapol Shalashevichus gonna move that forward, and a swing. Unfortunate drop from Shalashevichus. I think he was in a good position to take that disc, but was not able to, and Schilde saving that disc, and a nice break, backhand break to his teammates, Gins Mucinieks, a veteran player on the Valmiera squad. And that brings us to 2-2, so only holds for the moment from all of the teams. I don't think that there was a single turnover just yet. Quite a clean game, so 4 points in about 5 minutes. that does seem a little bit more like an indoor play. And a hammer to Stirbis, and Stirbis with a nice celebration over there. I had a pleasure of playing with him on a beach tournament, actually, on a hat. Yeah, he's definitely a very, very able receiver in the end zone, also quite tall, as you can see, so his stature definitely helping him indoor, taking down these very high second floor hammers, as they're being called occasionally. Shooting Stars getting ready to pull. So far, no turnovers in this game. Very clean game. So Valmiera and Schilde gonna start us off. Muncenieks with the disc, moving back to Kozolans. Ooh, lots of pressure on Biernis, but he finds Schilde, and no real open spaces at the moment. Quite a high stall count, and Biernis, unfortunately, that is being knocked off his hand. I think he went there with his left hand, but that did not work out for him. And that is a first turnover of the game. Shooting Stars have an opportunity for a first and quite an early break right now. Number 8 with the disc, or I think 9 rather, Zubavicius. Moving that around, and now an open receiver in the end zone. Rindokas gonna pick up the first break score for Lithuanians and Shooting Stars. So yeah, the Stars are definitely shooting right now, and they are getting a couple of points up. Not sure if playing 2 games in a row is as easy for Valmiera at the moment. Maybe after quite a physical game, it's not very easy, of course, to get back in the rhythm, and after just getting up there and playing. I mean, you don't really need to warm up. That's a nice thing about it. And Valmiera shooting deep, and that's going to be taken away once, twice. Ooh, 3 times basically needed to take this disc away for Zubavicius. And Schilde did keep his awareness over there on the disc, and we are going to call a timeout. So quite a good call, I think, from Shalasevicius, but that was an exciting turn of events there for Mantas Zubavicius. So not only, I think he should not pick up only 1 defensive point, but at least 2 for this particular defense, as that was very close for being scored by Schilde. So good on the players not to lose awareness on that. As the players take a bit of a break on the field, I'm gonna take a very quick break myself, get a sip of coffee, and be back with you in just a few seconds. And welcome back to Valmiera Shooting Stars game, Latvia against Lithuania, so 2 Baltic nations taking on each other, where Shooting Stars managed, after a triple defense from Zubavicius, get another break opportunity. Quick movement of the disc at the back at the moment, now finding an advancing pass. Šalaševičius kind of wants Stirbis to move somewhere, but pretty good coverage, and Stirbis managing to just find the break side quite easily, and his defender virtually did not move after him, so quite an easy score for Stirbis. And another break for Shooting Stars. Looks like being a little bit fresher. Does work out a lot better for the Shooting Stars at the moment, and maybe playing 2 games in a row is not the easiest thing for Valmiera to manage right now. Valmiera gonna get another opportunity for a hold. Looks like some players are actually crossing over from the offensive line, from the more traditional offensive line of Valmiera. Mucinieks are being completely wide open on this side. Finally, he is being looked at, and ooh, good take by Kozolans over there, under double coverage basically, but yeah, Mucinieks did see that he was quite wide open, and did take this opportunity with a nice scuba into the end zone, and Kozolans emphatically has taken and plucked this disc out of the, I wanted to say sky, but probably air, as we are completely covered here in the whole of Ogre Stadium. Very nice venue over here, but if I say very nice venue, you haven't seen an amazing venue of arena, so do tune in tomorrow with a full day of coverage tomorrow as well as today. And quite a lot of contact over there. I think he did stumble a little bit, but there's gonna be a bit of a discussion. Yeah, uncontested foul. Good to see that. We're gonna check the disc in on 1. And Stirbis weighs the disc, turns back, finds Šalaševičius, losing yards a little bit right now. Oh, Kukta, almost a drop. A bit of a bobble over there on the disc. Very active mark by Muris of Valmiera, and Stirbis once again with the disc on that far sideline right now. Now finding middle, Zubavicius to, I think it was Šalaševičius, and back to Zubavicius, and yeah, just a couple of passes, quick pop passes later. I think Stirbis picking up another scoring stat for himself. And that is another break. So after starting very, very cleanly with having 3-0, Shooting Stars decided to go on a bit of a run, so maybe Valmiera's legs are running away from them a little bit after playing the second game in a row. But yeah, looks like Shooting Stars are definitely running away with this game at the moment. So a 3-point deficit. It's not much, but it is enough in a very short 25-minute game. So with 10 minutes left. Yeah, interesting to see that very, very high stature of Kozolans, as it did cross above his hand, but just below his hand. He's actually quite tall, so according to the rules it should be 2 meters. I think 2 meters is going to be just above his head, as he is quite tall. Shooting Stars are going to call that disc out, and it's not going to be contested. Can always scroll back, of course, and check if it was in or out. In my perspective, I think it was maybe just in, but that's all right if the players decided by themselves. And Shooting Stars gonna get another opportunity for a break. Double defensive pressure over there works out. Not sure who is going to pick up the stat for that defense, but I'm absolutely sure that Gins Mucinieks is going to pick up the offensive stat for the point over there. Not sure who was the assist. Might actually pick that up on the replay cam. Oh, of course. Of course, it was Schilde. Schilde is going to pick up, I'm sure, yet another assist offensive point, as he has been throwing them quite a lot in the previous games. Yeah, handler of choice for sure. Quite a confident handler on Valmiera's squad. Definitely a player to watch, and his throws are quite a precise ones. Shooting Stars gonna get on their offense, as they haven't had an offensive possessions in quite a while, and yeah, Muris is going to accept a foul call from Shalashevichus. Ooh. No call. Looks like the disc was uncatchable for either players. Maybe a little bit too much contact, but Stirbis is not going to call anything. And Kozolans is going to pick up the disc for Valmiera. Skuber into the middle. Muris is going to throw to Stirbis for a defensive pass. Stirbis to Shalashevichus and into the end zone for number 92, Žitkauskas Dominikas. Yeah, unfortunately for Muris, after a great defensive pressure, a bit of a conservation of greatness, throwing right into the opposing player, and Stirbis is not going to hesitate and just throw it to his teammates and then straight into the end zone for another break. 4-7. That gap is becoming bigger and bigger at the moment. Yeah. Shooting Stars are on a bit of a run at the moment. Jakovels is going to start us off with the disc. Finds Kriegers. Kriegers on the far side line does not really have any options. Now has two, basically cutting in the same space, and thankfully that was Biernis, who did find and managed to get this disc. Mucinieks now is the disc once again on the far side line, takes the Skuber, not going. Jakovels coming under. Everything is going on that far side line at the moment, and Kriegers is going to throw into the end zone, but looks like Biernis was maybe, on a slightly wrong step and was not ready for that disc, and it was a little bit too far for him. Žitkauskas is going to pick that up, and but Mucinieks is going to say no and just going to slam that disc into the end zone. Jakovels is going to pick that disc up very quickly, throw it to Biernis for a score. So now 2 points away from equalizing the score, so 5-7. Still quite a big deficit for Valmiera, and they look to be, looks like playing 2 games in a row is not an easy feat on the indoor, even though the games are pretty short. We're used to playing 100-minute games outdoors, but still never a pleasure to play 2 games in a row when your opponent is quite rested. Kuchta gonna receive the disc, gonna move backwards into the end zone, but no options right now. Stirbis now with the disc finds Shalashevichus. Shovel pass to Kuchta, now Stirbis in the middle. Unguarded players all over for the offense of Shooting Stars as soon as they got through. That was quite an easy feat for them. And 8-5. is the score right now. 4 minutes left on the clock. And Valmiera gonna try to replicate the same thing that Shooting Stars did with them in the previous point. Jakovel's gonna find Kozolans. Now to Kriegers. Kriegers on the far sideline is looking for something to happen. And he's got Bjernis happening, and Bjernis this time sending it to Kriegers, and looks like the same miscommunication that they have had but now mirrored. Bjernis is not on the receiving side but rather on the throwing, but unfortunately the result is the same. The result is the turnover in favor of Shooting Stars. Zubavicius gonna pick that up. Swing to number 17. I'm going to find out who that is for you for the next game. But Mockus to Mockus. Domas Mockus to, I assume, his brother, Benas Mockus, for the score and for a much bigger gap. In this game, so 9-5, 2 minutes left. Basically, if Valmiera need to score, and they need to score really, really fast in order to continue this game. Otherwise, if the gap is 3 points or more, this game is going to be over when the time is over and the point is over. Valmiera gonna start us off on the brick mark. Fakes the scuba, not given. It goes backwards onto the far sideline, and Schilde looking for something to happen. Yeah, Schilde was asking for the disc, finally gets it. Now Moris with the disc. Moris to Berzinc. Berzinc to Schilde. Ooh. Good save by Schilde. Schilde to Teteris. Teteris managing to stay in, and Teteris unfortunately throwing that disc into the ceiling. Even if there was a contact from the defense, it definitely did not affect what has happened. And yeah, Shooting Stars. Another opportunity for a break. Stirbis with a very fancy roll curve backhand to Zubavicius, to Manta Zubavicius for the score. The Manta Stirbis, ever the showman. But yeah, nice point for him. Looks like the score is now Looks like the score is 10-4 or 10-5. 10-5, if I'm not mistaken. Looks like it's going to be a very, very quick brick. Nice hammer to Schilde, and Schilde to Muris to Bjernis, rather. My bad. And the time is over, and I think we're playing another point, as the point was scored before. Before the buzzer. We might play another point, but it will not change the result. I think it's going to be Shooting Stars game anyway. Because even if Valmiera is going to score, I mean, it does matter actually because of the point difference. So I think it does make sense to play another point for either of the teams, because it can get them a better result in case. Yeah, looks like our organizers are discussing that.
It was scored and it does matter because of the point difference. It doesn't make. They're gonna win anyway, but then the point difference.
I mean, the result of the game is not going to change because of this point. However, the result of the pool might change because of the point difference. So an additional point for Shooting Stars or for Valmiera would actually make quite a lot of difference in the end of the first day, where we going to switch and where we're going to see and when we're going to look at the crossovers. So that might make quite a lot of difference for either of the teams. Shooting Stars are coming out on top with a score of 11-5. Apologies again for a slightly wrong score. We are going to take once again a quick break. And next up we are going to see Ukraine 1 against Baltic Dragons. I might disappear in the middle of that next game to go and warm up for my game. So we're going to have Ukraine 1 against Baltic Dragon next. After that, we're going to have Shooting Stars against Pickup, Go Watch Me Play. And after that, Valmiera and Baltic Dragon. So I'm going to be back for that game. And of course, we're going to have a look at a few first points together of NXT against Baltic Dragons. Do catch me on the next stream.